the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the...
To listen to the full song and 50 million others, tap play full song now.
I wanted to play the full song for you. That is the beautiful India Irie. I don't know if you've heard this song before, but it's called I Am Light, and it's beautiful.
This song.
This is the live recording.
Because I know this is the truth of who we all are.
Because I wanted to talk about lightness today. So just listen to some of these words just for a second. And we'll talk. Welcome.
Take these words in.
I am light, I am light.
Good morning.
I am light, I am light.
Listen to these words. Close your eyes.
I am light, I am light.
Welcome to Find My Soul show.
I am light, I am light. I am not the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside.
Good morning.
I am light.
Good morning, Connie. Hi, Stephen.
I'm not the mistakes that
I wanted to share with you this morning. I'm just going to put India in the background there. Today on the Find Your Soul show, I wanted to talk a little bit about lightening your soul, lightening your being, and connecting with the light within. So one of my favorite songs is that song by India Irie, I Am Light. And the lyrics are so beautiful, but I mean, she sings it beautifully as well, but the lyrics are so beautiful. And I wanted to share with you that concept of remembering yourself as being light. So yeah, so I'll let you know. I'll turn it off so that I can focus. But the words are really interesting in that I Am Light song, because she says, I'm not the things my family did. I'm not the voices in my head. I'm not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. I am light. I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that caused me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. I am light. I am not the colour of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is all light. Oh, all light. I am divinity divined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light. And you are light. We are all light. We are all divine and human. And that is something that's been coming up for me in the last week or so, particularly this month. February is always a month for me where the summer craziness has sort of died down, and particularly here on Phillip Island, where lots of people come to the island to celebrate, to have Christmas and to do that summer sun thing. And yes, it is beautiful, Connie. Good morning, Jody. And after everybody leaves and goes back to school, I always have this feeling of, what am I going to do now? You know, we've had this like, manic kind of thing. And February is always like whoa, it's gone from crazy to nothing. Like, like the tumbleweeds, you know, going down the road. And so it's really interesting to reflect on that, because there's this sense that I get in February where I feel like I need to do stuff. I need to, because I've gone from being crazy busy to nothing, and we can get a little bit too much in our heads. I get very overthinky and I forget that I am light and I'm not all of those things that I do on a daily basis. So I pulled that song, that India Irie song, out and played a little bit of it at the beginning. And if you would like to connect with it, it's India Irie. And the song's called I Am Light, and you just Google it and you can see it on YouTube. It's beautiful. So I wanted to talk today, as I say, about the things that lighten your soul, because being light is something that will help you to move more gracefully and more easily through your life. And one of the things that I discovered when I was writing my book, Find Your Soul at Sea, which some of you have seen, Finding My Soul at Sea, is that one of my big values, the thing that I believe in the most, is having fun and being happy. And that's one of my highest values. So if you haven't done a values exercise before and you're not sure what your values are, they are the things that guide you. They're the things that you make your decisions based on. So the values that you have. So if you really value family, if you really value security, if you really value happiness, if you really value freedom, if you really value friendship, you know, those are the things that will sort of guide your life. So, for example, if you have a value on security, you're not going to have the same, you're not going to take the same actions as somebody who values freedom, for example. So security means that you like to stay secure, you like to stay safe, and you have that feeling of you know, if that's your highest value, then you will stay in the space of safety because that is one of your highest values. On the other hand, if you value freedom or risk, perhaps risk is a better word, if you value risk-taking, adventure, then you'll take very different steps in your life than you would if you valued security. So perhaps if you're an adventure seeker, let's call you an adventure seeker, you would do more adventurous things, which would be the opposite to safety. As a general rule, obviously you can be safe while you're taking your adventures, but that's what I'm talking about. So one of my big values, one of my highest values that I realized, particularly in work, but in life in general, is to be happy, to be light, because I tend more towards being serious. Which those of you who know me would go, that's interesting, because I seem like when I present myself to the world that I'm lighthearted and happy and, you know, upbeat, but I do tend to focus a lot. I tend to overthink a lot and spend a lot of time in that space of being serious, that, you know, things are very serious and we need to do these serious things. But that is part of my personality as well, that sort of wise one, which is very serious, and the other part of me is that light-hearted pixie, which is you know, something that I kind of, you know, move between quite a lot. And well, that's the Gemini in me. So I wanted to share with you today the concept of lightening your soul, because as we go through the year, this year I'm going to be focusing on, each month I'm going to talk about a different topic or a theme that came up in my book, that comes up in my book, Finding My Soul at Sea, and I'm going to sort of work you through a few things that have come up, and we're going to have a chat about those things. So if you're on the line right now, if you're watching the video right now, and you'd like to share with me something that you're maybe a little bit too serious about, like what is it that at the moment that's coming up for you, write in the comments, you know, what are you feeling is making you feel heavy. So let's start from there, and then we can lighten that up. So write in the comments things that are making you feel heavy in your relationships, things that are making you feel a bit heavy in your job, things that are making you people. Maybe there's certain people that are making you feel heavy. You don't have to put their name in the comments here, but you could maybe say my sister or my family. There might be certain people at your job, your colleagues. One of the things that we need to do before we move into the lightness space is honor and be okay with what's happening right now. We need to see clearly what's happening right now so that we can move forward. So I would suggest that you have a little think about that. What is it that's making you feel heavy? And if you're still with me, make a little comment underneath what is it that's making you feel heavy, and then we're going to look at how we can help you to feel lighter. So welcome, Kim. Nice to see you here. And there's a few other people still on the line. Jody, what have you got, hun? Toxic 9 to 5. Okay. Wish I had the courage to move on. All right. Awesome. So it's really good to know that when you're feeling like something's not resonating with you anymore, that you acknowledge that. So because something doesn't just suddenly become toxic, does it? A job or a relationship, things gradually move in the direction of not feeling good anymore. Most people, when they get into a relationship or they go into a job, everything's usually, it's great, but there might be some red flags, I guess. But usually there's a process that happens, and you get to a point where now you might feel like it's toxic, or now you might feel like it's not serving you. But perhaps when you first started, it did serve you. And the word toxic is really interesting too, Jody, because one of the things that I find with our words is if we use a really powerful word like I hate something, or this is toxic, or saying that you're exhausted, like using those sort of dramatic words does tend to make the situation more difficult to go into. So that lightness, do you see what I mean? Like, so the words that we use when we're describing things can also make the situation heavy. So one of the things that I would practice, yes, exactly, and it makes it worse. So what I would suggest when we're talking about the situation, yes, acknowledge that it's become a toxic space, or it feels like, it's moving in the direction of, affecting you in a negative way, is to begin to use different words around the situation. So once you've realized that it is a toxic space, or it doesn't feel good for you anymore, start talking about when you do speak about it, make sure that you say that it's we need to lighten the words around the things that are not feeling good, and increase the vibration of the words about the things we want. So one of the techniques that I talk about is Abraham Hicks. I don't know if you've heard of Esther Hicks, but those in the spiritual community have usually heard of Esther Hicks. And Esther channels a group of evolved beings called they call themselves Abraham. And one of the things that they talk about is when we're oh, sorry. Someone tried to ring me there in the middle of my conversation. When we're talking about things that we're not happy with, we need to generalize them. So we would say about the job, for example, we would say, I'm not really enjoying the space of working in this job, and I'm looking for blah, 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 like a job that's really satisfying, a job that has colleagues that are really cool, a job that makes me happy, a job that is, in sort of more of my passion, a job where the managers support me, a job where there's people who are fun, a job where I'm outside or I'm inside or whichever your preference is, and you talk more about the things that you're wanting rather than the things that are happening that are not actually working for you. So we generalize and we say, my job that I'm working in right now is not really working for me. What I'd really like is blah, 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 blah. And if you're not quite sure what it is that you want just yet, you can just be very general. Like I say, I want to feel happy in my job, or I want to feel graceful, or I want to feel peaceful, or I'd like to, what is it that you'd like to feel? So we practice talking about the thing that we want rather than talking about the thing that we don't want. So it minimizes the energy that goes into that space, and it removes that heaviness. So it makes it lighter. So when you are at work, sure, you do what you need to do. But interestingly, it starts to shift when you start talking about that what you want instead. One of the other things that's really helpful too is Abraham Hicks talks about the generalizing things that are big and talking more detailed about the things that are small. So I always talk to people about the process of talking about a ham sandwich. So let's call it the ham sandwich process. So let's say, for example, nothing in your day has been going right. Everything's just not going right at all, and you're really struggling with the way that your day is going. And so people are like, how are you? And you go, oh, everything's just crap. What I usually say is, okay, things are not going so well for me today, but I had the best ham sandwich, or whatever sandwich you had, ever. Like today, it had like 2 pieces of ham, and there was like a big piece of cheese, or avocado, or like, some aioli and some lettuce and some tomato, and and then I made it into a BLT because I put some bacon on it, and the bread was really nice, and then I toasted it in the toaster. And do you see what I mean? So you talk about the little things that are really yummy and delicious, and make them more light and detailed. Like talk about the thing that's the good stuff. And it's a little bit like, I guess we're moving into gratitude work here, but my point is to be more general with the things that are not working. Once you've acknowledged what they are, of course, you've honored them, then, and more detailed with the things that are working. So if it's just if the ham sandwich, if your lunch today is the best thing that happened to you, then talk more about your lunch. Now, people are going to look at you funny, I have to tell you, because when you say, how are you? And you say, I'm not really enjoying my job. They want you to talk more about your job. Most people want to hear about the bad stuff that's happening to you so that they don't have to think about the bad stuff that's happening to them. So isn't that true? Like, we always love to hear about people's drama, and we prefer to hear about someone else's drama. That's why the police shows and the detective and all that sort of stuff, that watching TV, that's why the movies that are scary or like, intense dramas, that's why we love watching that stuff. Isn't that true, Kel? Yeah. So, that's why we love watching those sorts of TV shows, because it takes us out of our space and puts us into a different space. It has us thinking about somebody else rather than ourselves, and that lifts the weight. So it's not bad necessarily to distract yourself. I definitely feel like that's one of the things that's really important. Yes, the negative the negative stuff, makes our lives look easier. Yeah, exactly. So the idea of shifting from the heaviness to the lightness, to remember that you are a light, you are a soul, and come back to that space of lightness, is to start focusing on the things that make you feel light, the things that were good today, and talking more about those things. So that's one of the things that I love to do, is that get more detailed. The other thing that people will look at you funny is if you're talking for 20 minutes about a sandwich, they will go, there's something weird about you. But you will feel heaps better. It's so funny to do it. And it's really interesting because we're not practiced at it. It's something that we need to practice, that's for sure. Not many people will do it, and it does take some time to get into that practice of not going straight into the drama, and going into the practice of saying, sure, that's not working right now, or this project is kind of overwhelming, but I had this really great walk. Last night I had a great walk and I saw dragonflies. Like yesterday, there was a dragonfly. I was doing a beautiful healing treatment on a client of mine, and while she was on the table, outside the window there was this huge dragonfly, and it was flying around and around, and it was eating all these little tiny bug gnat things, and it was just there for the whole time that she was on the table. So when she got off the table after having her Bowen and Reiki session, what I call a divine alignment, a divine being alignment, it's beautiful. She was all relaxed and feeling beautiful. And I said to her, do you know, while you were on the table, there was this amazing dragonfly that was flying outside the window. And she said, oh, what do dragonflies mean again? And so we got out the Animal Spirit Guide book, and we read what the message of dragonfly was for her. And I always think it's not just for her, it's also for me, because I saw the dragonfly. Like, I was the one who saw it. So I feel like the animal spirit guides come in and give us messages for not just me, but not just the client, but also me. So dragonfly is all about illusion and seeing things as we have seen them in the past, and maybe deceiving ourselves a little bit about what is going on now. So when there's a discrepancy between what we used to believe and what we believe now, that's a deception or an illusion that you are creating in your life, so that you can't see clearly what's going on in the current space. So and all animal guides come in when we need to get these sorts of messages. So yes, so that's what I'm saying about, like, focusing on the beautiful things that happen in the day rather than the things that were heavy. So so if that resonates with you, give me a bit of a thumbs up if you're still there and you're picking up what I'm putting down, as my sister says. Yes. Oh, cool. That's cool, Jody. You saw a dragonfly as well. And then what was the other interesting thing was, when my client went home, she sent me a text and a photograph of 2 dragonflies that were flying around her head, and when she got home. So I was like, oh my God, there you go. So the dragonfly really had something to say. So that was just another confirmation for me that the dragonfly message was definitely for her, and then a little bit for me as well, because I saw them the day before. I had seen them and they were flying around my bike while I was riding. There was a whole family of them that were flying around my bike. So I know the message was for both of us. And yes, it is beautiful, Jody. So there's a little bit more to it than that. And let me know if you'd like to read the full blurb, because I can send you the full blurb from the Animal Spirit Guides book, and then you can read a little bit more in detail about what that's all about, dragonflies. Then so there's a few things that I wanted to just mention today, and then next week we're going to talk a little bit more about the lightness of the soul, lightening your soul. So I'm going to give you a few things this week, and then next week I'm going to talk a little bit more. So as I say, each month I'm going to talk about the topic and just sort of evolve it a little bit, depending on who's on the call as well, because it depends on what you bring up as to what we will end up talking about, which makes it such a beautiful, unique thing when you're doing these live shows. Whoever tunes in at the time is going to bring their energy to the space, and then we can talk about what you want to talk about as well. So one of the things that I wanted to ask you, as the people who are watching right now, what is your happy song? What is the thing that you listen to when you want to feel happy? Or what's the song when it comes on the radio and you just go, oh my God, I love this song, and you turn it up super loud and you sing really loudly in the car? Like, what's your happy song? And it might change all the time, but you might have a song that makes you feel really light and really happy. You might have a couple of songs that make you feel like that, so that remind you of the light within. Some people say to me that they really love music from a time when they felt young, or music from a time when they were in love, or music from a time when there's always those sorts of that music that sort of brings back memories. But sometimes there's music or songs that really resonate with your higher self and your lighter being. Yeah. Oh, okay. That's interesting, Kel. So you don't have one at the moment. Yep. Yeah. So I think with that sort of thing, it's about going back into your library, into your music library, and seeing if you can find a song that makes you feel happy. One of the things that I do sometimes, I don't usually listen to like the gold. There's a couple of radio stations in Melbourne, and depending on where you are in the world, that have the older music. And so Gold 101 or Gold FM anyway is one of the stations, and sometimes I'll jump to that station while I'm driving and just see what music they're playing, and it's amazing how it can bring up some fun, happy memories. Sometimes you can be like thrown into a memory of something from the past, but the cool thing is to start listening to you can put together a playlist, I guess, of some happy songs. Some people like to actually, on their phone or their iPod or their computer, actually start collecting songs that make you feel good, because sometimes if we let the radio tell us what we feel, then, or the television, for example, if we let the television or the radio tell us what to watch, just keep watching the things that come up on the TV, then we're not having control of how we feel. We're not having control of our emotions, and we can be led down the path of drama, as I said, or the path of negativity, for example, especially if you get sucked into the news, for example. Sometimes that can be, that doesn't make us feel happy at all. And so that's really interesting to consider as well. What are you choosing to watch that makes you feel light or makes you feel heavy? Hi, Sally, how are you going? Nice to see you. So does anyone have any cool songs that they like to listen to? I haven't seen anyone typing a song. I really like the new song. My sister is into BTS, which is the Korean band, boy band that are just sweeping the world at the moment and doing amazing things. And one of their songs called Dynamite it's a song that they started using for a Samsung ad on television for the phones, and it's a catchy tune. And then I noticed that it's been being played on the radio as well. It's called Dynamite, very upbeat, catchy kind of tune, and it's one of their few English speaking, like they speak English when they sing the song. So that is a really cool song to listen to. I like that. I always turn that one up nice and loud because it really gets me feeling good. Fight song? Yes. Oh, yeah. I remember that one, Jody. That one's a good, like, Yeah, you know, empowering song. The that one. I'm not sure if it's Kelly Clarkson, but yes, I know the song you're talking about. That's amazing, and that's a really good one for like feeling empowered, feeling like rising up kind of feeling. So yeah, that's amazing. So is the my question, I guess, is what other things can you put into your space that will make you feel light? So music is good. Music is really good. You know, watching TV shows that are light, comedy. Okay, so anytime that you laugh, you lighten your soul. Anytime that you're laughing or singing, you know, or dancing, you know, if you're in that space, you're lightening your soul. And sometimes, because if we get out of practice, Kel, I know you mentioned that it's been years since you've had that feeling of lightness, and I think that that's we get out of practice. We get into the habit of, you know, focusing on the things that are not going well, and we get out of practice of that feeling of you know, of being light. So does anyone else have a cool happy song that they like to play? I'm not sure if you're... It's okay, sometimes it's a bit of a delay, so feel free to share your happy song. And the other one, as I say, is laughter. So laughing, being happy, you know, bringing in that energy of laughter. Children laugh something like 300 times a day, and I might be exaggerating that, but it's a lot. Children, you know, little kids, they just laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh. They cry too. They probably cry 300 times a day too. But that childlike quality, that laughter, you know, laughing out loud. One of the things that I noticed about adulting, is that we squash our laughter a lot. And that can be from, like, you know, some programming as a child. You might have been told not to laugh too loud, or not to laugh out loud at all, or not to be noisy. And so we get conditioned out of that laughter, out loud laughter space. And I know people who laugh and then put their hand over their mouth. You know, it's like, oh my God, no, don't put your hand over your mouth. Like, laugh out loud. Like, really let yourself laugh. Practice. If you have to, do it in the car or do it when you're out, like, by yourself on the beach or something. Like, practice laughing out loud, watching comedians. There's so much stuff on YouTube and the internet. I mean, you could be, you know, you could be using that tool, that internet tool, to make yourself feel better, to lighten your soul. You know, we're supposed to be light beings. We're supposed to be, you know, divine beings that are light. So, you know, that's what the practice is of lightening your soul. And I think that that's something to remember. That's really important. So, yeah, so let me know in the comments if you have a favourite comedian or a favourite TV thing that you like watching. I really love, on Saturday nights, Live at the Apollo is on channel 22, which is like ABC. It's an ABC channel, but I'm not sure wherever you are in the world. I love watching Live at the Apollo, which is an English, obviously, based in England, and all the comedians come on and do, you know, there's usually 3 comedians, and they come on and they do a bit for about 10 minutes each. And it's so good because you get a variety of people. So, you know, some of them I might not like one of the comedians as much as the other 2. Some nights it's all 3 are amazing. Some nights it's only one that I really like. But the point is that I'm putting myself into, you know, a space of laughing. Oh yes, Kel, Hard Chat, such a crack up. I love him. You know, he's such a cool guy. Oh my God, his name has just escaped me. The guy who hosts the show. Remind me of his name. I've met him. He's amazing. He used to be a science teacher, I remember meeting him when I was working on cruise ships. We were doing a comedy, like a special comedy cruise, and so I was helping to organise it. Tom Gleeson. Thank you, Kel. So Tom was one of the comedians that came on to this cruise to do like a comedy. It was like just a 3-night comedy cruise, and we had lots of different comedians who came on, Australian comedians. It was P&O cruises. I think they still do the comedy cruises, obviously not right now while we're not doing any cruising, but Tom was amazing and so down to earth, very, like, you know, sarcastic and quippy, and a cool, very cool man. I really enjoyed spending time with him. We had dinner with the comedians and things like that too, because we were organising the event. So yeah, hard chat is fun. And the people's, how funny are all the people's different topics that they talk about as well. My mum always says that my sister and I should go on and do a Friends, have our topic as the Friends TV show, because we've watched them so many times that we know all of the quips and the lines, the quotes, you know, all the different episodes. And then see, there's another interesting thing, like watching things like Friends or Will and Grace or The Big Bang Theory. Yeah, I love their reactions too, especially when Tom is like, you know, being like giving them a bit of a hard, giving them a hard time on Hard Chat. Yeah, so I love that that those sorts of light comedies that allow you to just watch them, have them in the background while you're cooking, or while you're sort of doing your thing. Those sorts of things are really good because they're easy to watch, but they don't sort of draw you into a negative spiral, if that makes sense. And they always resolve themselves. That's one of the things with those comedies like Friends and those sorts of shows, Will and Grace. They always finish at the end of the show. They usually finish on a high note. They usually bring you back, resolve your issue, to remind you that you can resolve your issues. And I love that they communicate as well. That's one of the things that is really amazing about and clever about the writing of some of those shows like Friends. They make you talk. They have the characters talk about their problems. They verbalize what's going on. So, because otherwise, if everybody was just quiet and silent and didn't speak, you wouldn't have a TV show. So, but I remember somebody talking, I can't remember who the guy was, but this psychologist was talking about Friends and saying how clever it is that they show you every emotion of each of the characters, and they also get each of the characters to verbalize what's going on for them, to speak out loud what it is that the problem is, and then they work through it, and then they resolve it. So it's a really good way of to practice that. And yes, that's, you know, it's a little bit of an Americanism in terms of the way that they tend to work, where they just speak things out loud and go blah, this is what's going on, good or bad, which I miss about working in the, you know, when I was working on the cruise ships. You know, I that American kind of cultural thing of saying what you feel, saying how great something is or how awful something is. You know, you always knew exactly where they were coming from, and there wasn't that sort of you know, the English. You know, Australians tend to you know, we've obviously been colonised by the British, but that sort of English thing and is of not speaking about what we're feeling is a bit, that cultural thing is quite an interesting difference between the two countries. So yes, so does anyone else have a TV show that they want to share while we're talking about comedy and light things? Or if you've thought of a song now, feel free to share your song. I guess the thing that I really wanted to come back to while you're thinking about your songs is, or your TV shows, is just remembering that lightness of your soul and the light within, that you actually don't You don't have to get drawn into the drama. You know, your being, your physicalness of being human is only one part of you. And there is this lightness, this soul within, this divineness within you. And you can tap into that in lots of different ways. And that's what we're going to talk about. Every time I come on and do the show, I'm going to be talking about your soul and connecting with your soul in lots of different ways. This time, as I say, I just wanted to come in and start talking about that lightness of soul. And next week, we'll talk a little bit more about finding joy and happiness and so forth. So the other thing that I wanted to say is I've got a little special sort of drawer that you can go into. If you go to my website, I've put my link in the blurb underneath this video. If you go to my website to the contact page, which is the link that's there, and you sign up for my newsletter, where I send out free special offers and do a little blurb, a blog sometimes, and some angel cards. I do a Friday freebie to send out an angel card to you every week. If you would like to sign up for that, you go into the drawer. So if you sign up today and subscribe to the newsletter, you'll actually go into the drawer to win a gift voucher. A $20 gift voucher, and that you can use on any of my services, and come and see me if you're down in Phillip Island, or you can use it on a service that is available online, like a meditation or a meditation class, or you could use it for a coaching session. And one of the things, as we're wrapping up, I'm about to wrap up today, one of the things that's new that is available now and is my new divine being alignments that I mentioned before that my client was having yesterday. The divine being alignment is a combination of Bowen therapy, which is a body alignment technique, a massage technique, and Reiki Energy Healing, which is an energy alignment technique, energy balancing technique. And so you would actually get a combination of those two things. So I would do a chakra balance, and you would also get any physical issues sorted out at the same time. So it's a 60-minute session. And at the moment I'm doing a little special where you can come and have a divine alignment, a divine being alignment for $120, and you get a special bonus gift pack valued at $55 if you book in before the end of February. So if you're not down here on Phillip Island, then send me a message anyway, and we might be able to work out a different way of doing that divine being alignment for you online. Let's talk. There's always ways to lighten your being, and maybe that is something that would help you too. Coming soon also is the divine being program, which I'm going to be talking about soon. I'm in the process of creating a divine being program which will start to move you in the direction of knowing yourself better, and getting that lightness of being all the time, and just reconnecting to yourself so that you can know yourself, know your soul more deeply and more authentically. So it's been lovely to join you again online for the Find Your Soul show. My name's Pip Coleman, and as I say, if you would like to get more information, feel free to click on the link down below and go to my website, pipcoleman.com, or you can join me over on my Facebook page at Pip Coleman Author Coach. I would love to see you there. So thanks again, everybody. It's been a pleasure and a delight. Thanks, Kel. Thanks, Jody. Thanks, Sally, if you're still there. And thanks to Kim, Connie, and Stephen, and anyone else who dropped in there that I missed. Thanks, Jody. It's been a pleasure, and enjoy the rest of your day. And I will see you again next week for the Find Your Soul show. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.